independent. I am woman.
Since assuming the portfolio of Human Services and Social Security, Honorable Dr. Vindhya Prasad has adopted a compelling, visionary, and proactive approach to matters and issues pertaining to women and children, particularly as it relates to women's empowerment, creative innovating programs that address many issues, including violence, financial independence, and platforms for women.
Humble, passionate, empathetic, with a dynamic outlook, by truly leading from the front, Minister Prasad is the vanguard in spearheading the rollout of programs and projects designed to uplift women and communities. The success of the Garment and Accessories Cottage Initiative project, which produced all the purple face masks for this event, and many women entrepreneurs, is testimony and affirmation of the charismatic vibrancy and effusiveness of this remarkable leader.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to invite Minister Prasad to the podium.
Excellency, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, Cabinet colleague, Minister of Education, Ms. Priya Manik Chand, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, invitees, all of you wonderful people who have gathered here this afternoon, those women who we are celebrating and who have chosen to be a part of We Lift, Women's Empowerment, Leading, Innovating, Flourishing Together. I bid you good afternoon, welcome, and ahead of March 8th, I say Happy International Women's Day. Before I go any further, I want to really acknowledge the team effort that went into this, and it really speaks to the theme under which we will be celebrating International Women's Day, and that is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. I would like us all to give everyone involved in this venture a rousing round of applause for making it happen. When we think of women, we think of them in so many different ways. They're remarkable in many, many lives, in many circumstances, and they've carved the world for literally every human being. Women are grandmothers, their wives, their mothers, their daughters, their sisters, their baby girls. And women are literally found in every sphere of life, bringing different perspectives to the table, honing their skills and talent, and ensuring that at all times they make a mark in the world in which we live in today. I salute and I pay tribute to all these women who every day and at all times defy the odds, leap over the obstacles, and surmount the difficulties and challenge to make sure that generation after generation there is a trail that is blazed. As we think of leadership in the world that we live in together, we would like to challenge all of the different elements that confront women. We're all moving towards equality in every sense as we move in time and we move in purpose to have that ideal world where women and girls are safe. Equality brings with it many challenges. It means that we're seeking to see more women lift their voices in advocacy against the many ills that threaten the world and women within the world, girls within the world. We are also looking to see the participation of more women at national levels and more women in leadership positions, whether, yes, I'm going to say it, it's in the home or it's in the community or in the wider country. I remember my father used to tell this joke, and I was always a daddy's girl. And he said, the men may think that they're the head of the homes, but the women are the necks. And without the neck, the head can go nowhere. So women, consider yourselves in very powerful positions. I would also like to speak against many of the atrocities and ills that exist in the world in which we live in. It is still a dark and dangerous place for women and girls. Every day we read of an incident of rape, of abuse, of violence, and we're not only reading about it, but I hope we're putting ourselves in the position of those women who feel threatened, intimidated, harassed, and yes, even violated wherever they are. It is incumbent on us as persons who have the ability to do so, to continue to rally around women and girls and to speak out unhesitatingly against these ills. The network cannot be women alone. The network must comprise of men who are ready to walk with us every step of the way, support us, understanding clearly that there is a space for everyone in this world. Equality does not mean women replacing men, not at all. Equality means that we are able to see each other's perspective, respect each other, and work together for common goals. An incident occurred recently, and I'd like to just refer to it briefly, to say that what happened between two MPs gave rise to two different stories. An investigation was done on the same night, and the Ministry of Human Services is committed to taking every report seriously, and we will do so, and we are committed to standing by the investigation carried out by the police. I want to put that on record. The world in which we live in must never trivialize violence, abuse, rape, harassment, and the things that seem to just be swept away. If you look towards that side, there are several things that we are choosing to challenge: gender stereotypes, gender bias, the power gap. We are challenging even the media to portray women and girls responsibly. We are challenging many persons to ensure that women and girls have access to basic rights, education, and health. We cannot continue to live in a world where 25 years after a declaration was made on where women should be, that we're still pulling out the arsenal and having to fight as hard as we do every day. 25 years from now, those coming after us must say we left a legacy that they could be very proud of and they could build on. So I would like to ask all the wonderful women who are gathered here today, let's create a network that is the envy of all in this country, supporting each other, lifting each other up, and ensuring that there is mentorship, there is guidance, and most of all, there's love among women. Sometimes we look outside of the women folk and we blame the men. That's not always what we should be doing. First, we look at ourselves and look among ourselves and find what are the supporting structures we want to see. This afternoon, I'd like to recognize all the women who've used their talent and creative skills to make us have an opportunity to enjoy all that they're presenting to us, from beauty and wellness, to health, to business, to jewelry, you name it, they're in those spheres. The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security is poised to ensure that we create an enabling platform for women across the country through our various cottage industry initiatives. We've started with the successful Garment and Accessories Initiative. We will continue to expand that, where we're moving from where we are right now, 58 business proposals and 14 success stories, to hundreds of them over the 5 years to come. I also would like to say that 914 has been launched. This afternoon we are going to complement 914, and it is our way of reaching out to women who have been scarred by violence and women who are in the throes of violent relationships. We also look towards creating an inclusive society where women and girls who are differently able can have the same training opportunities as those of us. As such, the ministry will embark on an aggressive movement to ensure that we harness the skills, the talent, the creative abilities, the very essence of the women of our country, so that we can create what I would love to see, a world where women not only feel safe and secure, but they're allowed to achieve their fullest potential. So to all the women, I say, don't just dream, make it happen. Don't just limit yourself to a ceiling, see no ceiling. Don't just be in a position where you think it's not possible. It is possible once the mind can conceive it. And to all the men who have supported us, who have walked with us, who are part of this movement of engendering the ideal place for our women and girls, empowering them, enabling them, enriching their lives, I say thank you to you. I would also like to recognize our partners who supported the ministry every step of the way. I'd also like to recognize especially the EU and UN for the Spotlight Initiative, which we continue to work on. All the diplomatic missions and embassies who would have cooperated with us in some way or another to ensure that our programs are out there. And I'd also like to say thank you to all of you for gathering here this afternoon as we celebrate women. We choose to challenge and we lift up the women. And last but not least, I must thank His Excellency the President for agreeing to be here this afternoon and for championing women. I know you will. And I look forward to the support that I'm sure will continue. And I have no doubt with this kind of support from someone who holds the highest office in our land, women can be assured of the future that they want to see. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and do enjoy the beautiful event that we have here for you. I thank you.
Thank you, Minister Prasad, for your enriching and valuable remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a treat for you, compliments of the young influencers.
Are they ready for us? Young influencers? Okay. Wonderful.
Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion.
And all those things I do say, the wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream them loud tonight.
about me. In too deep, says I'm in too deep. And it's been 2 years, I miss my home, but there's a fire burning in my bones. Still believe, yeah, I still believe.
All those things I didn't say, wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream them loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Started right now. I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care what nobody else believes. 'Cause I've still got a lot of fire left in me. A lot of fire left in me.
Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion. This is my fight song.
Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Started right now. I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes. I've still got a lot of fire left in me.
No, I still got a lot of fire left in me. Digital technology has been incorporated into our daily lives, and the ministry is dedicated to using this platform to safeguard the vulnerable from violent situations. The ministry is proud to partner with 2 of its international agencies to provide a gender-based violence app. Please help me welcome Adler Bino, Liaison Officer from the United Population Fund, who will give an insight into this latest initiative.
His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Her Excellency Mrs. Arya Ali, First Lady of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Honorable Mark Phillips, Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, the Honorable Mrs. Mignon Phillips, Second Lady of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, Honorable Dr. Vinya Prasad, Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Honorable Ministers of Government, Honorable Members of Parliament, Her Excellency Makiko Tanaka, UN Resident Coordinator to Guyana, His Excellency Fernando Ponscanto, European Union Ambassador to Guyana, members of the Diplomatic Corps, colleague heads of UN agencies in Guyana, members of the Guyana Spotlight Initiative team, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be able to support the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security in providing an overview of the gender-based violence services guide application. Allow me to begin with a simple message from the United Nations Population Fund as we commemorate this year's International Women's Day. And it's this simple message. A woman's inability to realize her bodily autonomy undermines her ability to attain leadership. So I'm going to say that again. A woman's inability to realize her bodily autonomy undermines her ability to attain leadership. And when we think about that, a woman being able to safeguard her bodily autonomy, one of the things that very often comes to mind is the challenges that women face with respect to violence. A woman should be able to protect herself from violence. Before I get into the app, I would like to share these 4 key points, and then we're going to move on to the app. Firstly, in thinking about the violence that confronts women and girls in our society, and to some extent men and boys as well, we must acknowledge that gender-based violence is caused by gender inequality, the abuse of power, and disregard of human rights. Secondly, anyone can experience gender-based violence, including men and boys, but females are disproportionately affected because of gender inequality and power imbalance between males and females. Thirdly, gender-based violence is not only rape or sexual violence, but it includes different forms of violence, such as physical and emotional violence, early marriage, and economic violence. So we need to consider all these things. And finally, gender-based violence survivors need various services to overcome the negative consequences of gender-based violence. The needs of gender-based violence survivors are not always the same, even if survivors experience the same form of violence. And it's because of that very point that we see the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security looking at various ways in which they could respond to this issue, investing in various platforms, various mechanisms, structures to support the response to this situation. And as a direct result of that, we're now able to reflect on the very app that we're seeking to launch today. Last week, we were fortunate enough to support the minister and the ministry in having 2 child advocacy centers launched in Berbice. This Saturday, in commemoration of the International Women's Day this year, we are supporting the launch of a GBV Services Guide application. So it's a mobile application, one that will allow women and girls, men and boys, anyone affected by violence, to be able to access any information that they need with respect to a perceived challenge with regards to violence, information with regards to which services they can access and where they can access those services. It's important to highlight that this builds upon a prior collaboration with the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security that would have seen a mapping of gender-based violence services in Guyana, as well as the development of referral pathways. And this applies to all 10 administrative regions of Guyana. The app, as you can see here, is relatively simple. The binder-looking icon, along with the white flag, is a simple icon for it. It could be downloaded onto any mobile phone. The intent is that once you download it once, you don't need to do so again. So if there's no internet service, a person is still able to go into that app and get the information that they need for a given situation and determine where they can refer for a particular service. The welcome page is relatively simple. It focuses on 4 broad areas. 1, where you can get help. It lists the various support services by region. There's a tab that deals with resources. So if you you might have seen something in your community, you want to get a better understanding of what you're dealing with, you might want to refer to the resources on the app to better appreciate what the situation is. There's a tab about the law, and then one that deals with myths and frequently asked questions. And then finally, in terms of the app development, this was done largely through the support of a lead consultant, Akola Thompson, who is, I think, a relatively well-known activist in Guyana, with technical support from the United Nations Population Fund, the financial support from the EU under the Spotlight Initiative. All of this part of a unique collaboration with the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security in support of the government's program. So with that, I'll conclude my very brief overview of the app and humbly invite the Honorable Minister back to the front to launch the GBV app. And at the request of the Minister, with her permission, I'll invite His Excellency the President, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, along with Her Excellency Makiko Tanaka, the UN Resident Coordinator to Guyana, and His Excellency Fernando Ponzo Canto, the EU Ambassador to Guyana. And at this moment, our specially invited guests will symbolically launch the GBV Services Guide app by holding a mobile phone, symbolic of this investment.
What a great initiative. Thank you, Mr. Bino. Our next speaker, in an early address to this great nation, articulated a Guyana for all Guyanese. Simple words, but with a serious commitment to connect to the people, he is a fervent leader for all.
Assuming the highest office in the land only a short few months ago, he has already made his mark with an eagerness and ardor that is infectious. What more is left to say about this amazing individual, except to say he is our 9th Executive President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, to deliver the feature address and declare open the We Lift exhibition.
Most importantly, the women who are with us today. It gives me great honor and privilege, and I'm humbled to be before you as we celebrate the accomplishments, as we celebrate the sacrifices, the commitment of women all across the globe. And this should never be about a day. The day is just an opportunity for us to reflect and understand the significant role of women that impact our lives every day, every single day. And I think we ought to give them a resounding round of applause for this. I would not even attempt to try to discuss issues women tackle and are faced with every day. I don't have the capability to understand the level of challenges that a woman would go through in her life cycle. Women are made specially, in my view. They're designed much stronger than men. But beyond that strength is that inner soul that can be easily tapped into in any country and any society that would like to transform itself. For women, it's love, patience, commitment, struggle comes naturally. Comes naturally. And in our world today, we're faced with so many challenges. The most recent is the COVID-19 pandemic. And who again are at the forefront of this struggle? Women. Who again, in a disproportionate manner, face the most severe consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic? It is women again. And sometimes I go to a lot of events and I hear people announce names of women who would have accomplished a certain position and try to use that to celebrate what women can accomplish. To me, it is not really celebrating. It is saying to ourselves, look, you can actually do this. That is not the case. Women has in it the potential to achieve anything. It is not something that has to be given to them. It is not something that is so special when they achieve the highest level of accomplishment that we feel it necessary that we make it a number game. In most cases, they achieve this through hard work, through commitment, through strength of character. Here in Guyana, we launched about, Dr. Vindy would have the exact time frame, about maybe a year ago, a national mask up drive. We were able to mobilize more than 300,000 masks all across the country. Minister Manichan also played a big role in that. It was our first shot at addressing the pandemic. And 95% of that production came from women all across the country, understanding the need for them to step up, understanding the need for them again to make a mark. The initial education on COVID was driven by women in this country. The seriousness that we had to attribute to COVID was driven home by women and mothers. So, this pandemic brings with it so many challenges for the private sector as a whole. But based on the statistics that we're seeing, women-led businesses are having the greatest difficulties in sustaining themselves and regaining capital to continue. And it's a major challenge that we have coming up on our hands globally. But much more important is the fallout in the education system. And I know our Minister of Education and her team, Dr. Vindy and her team, Minister Sonia, we have been working on many plans and platforms to keep children in school. But the global trend in analysis so far is frightening. And when school finally reopens, we'll see the true impact of this pandemic on our education system. And again, this can be a great drawback in the gains we have made in reducing disparity and also in the educational sector. And again, women will have to be in the forefront of that struggle. Our education system is heavily supported and managed by women. So, this pandemic has really taught us a number of lessons. But important in these lessons is for us to understand that we can only get by when we come together, when we pool our efforts. All of us must share the same commitment in resolving problems. And women issues are not only about women. If we are to resolve the many challenges, all of us, men, women, children, regardless of your political affiliation, we must share the same commitment in resolving the issues. Fortunately, we are seeing globally a trend that is encouraging. The new generation of women, many of whom we saw earlier, are starting at a far superior level than those before them. They are starting on a far better platform, but they cannot relax there. We have to look at moving the agenda forward. And that is why I think from a government perspective, from a societal perspective, we have to look at a national approach in which we mainstream issues and challenges of women into the policy framework of the country itself. Not only for the government, but importantly for the private sector too. How challenging it is for women to access loans. How do we address that? If we are to motivate investment in a particular area, we have to build specific investment regime to motivate that investment, whether it's tax incentives. Similarly, in order to break this cycle and make it easier, we have to sit with the banking sector and we have to work on a plan in which we can develop a regime, an incentive regime that would make it easier and less complicated for women to get loans so they can start their own businesses. I'm very, very pleased recently when I learned that a significant percentage of the young professional homes would be taken up by females. Will be taken up by females. And that tells a story. It tells a story that the message, the culture, and the stereotype is changing to the extent that young women today see themselves as providing their own opportunities, owning their own homes. Very important. Very important for empowerment. Very important for the building of confidence. On this note, as we speak about the integration of women in the national framework, we cannot help, and sometimes we try to avoid it, but we have to speak about the development of the family. We cannot change this country community by community unless we develop the family. Unless we sit as families, we change the way families think, and when you combine that change, you get community change, then you get national change. The value of family, the value of more empowered families is important in advancement of women also. Stronger families are critical in supporting women. And in Guyana, we have never discussed the issue of families in a strategic way. Minister Mani Chan, when she was at Human Services and Social Security, started many initiatives. But we have built these initiatives into a national framework. And I know Dr. Vindy is working on a number of these initiatives with her team. But very soon, from the level of the presidency, I'm going to be addressing the issue of family in building this one Guyana we want to achieve. Today, just before I came here, I sat with a few designers and I went through the Bible, the Gita, and the Quran. And I have identified particular scriptures that I would like to be placed on scrolls all across this country as a gentle reminder, as to who we are as human beings, what is expected of us. We can achieve significant change not only for women, but for our society if we go back to the core values on who we are as humans. And we have to have this conversation in this country. And I'm depending on the women in our society to lead this conversation. What do we want to achieve as an individual family and collectively as a Guyanese family? How do we help each other to achieve? These issues are critically linked to the development of society in which women plays a leading role. In recent times in our country, when we were faced with many challenges, if you look at a lot of the footage, you will see it was a lot of women there. A lot of women speaking. A lot of women standing tall. So there's a nexus. We have some advancement from this new generation, but how do we help the current generation? How do we empower them so that they can support that movement? One of the things we have to focus on is how do we increase household income? Very important. And we're working now on a project, especially in the rural communities, where we can have training in the call centers. And women who are homemakers, they can be part of that training so that they can also be exposed to an economic activity that would add to household income, giving them a greater strength of character, greater independence. And that is a massive program we're going to launch all across the country. Single parents. We have to have a specific agenda on how we are going to deal with single parents. Because as much as we talk, if we do not have the economic changes and the economic opportunities to support the social development, then you will have political problems. It is just the nature of things. That is why the platform has to be built on economic, social, political, and cultural basis to support the even development. You can have the political development moving faster than the social and economic development, and you would not see the results. Sometimes the laws are far in advance of the institutions that have to implement the laws. So we have to relook at the entire framework. Which areas require strengthening so that we can achieve the objectives of the laws? Has to go hand in hand. So, from all the proposals I've seen from Minister Vindi and various cabinet members, there's some common theme in relation to what we want to achieve as it relates to women development. One, greater participation. Two, empowerment. Three, enhanced livelihood option. Four, a more secure environment in which they can live. Five, stronger families. And six, very important, is ensuring that our institutions, is ensuring that our national framework address in a holistic manner the challenges of women. So I congratulate you today, not because of International Women's Day that is coming on Monday, but I congratulate you because of the great role you have played in the lives of every Guyanese. I congratulate you because of your commitment, your dedication, your patience, your love, your tolerance, and your belief that you can be a positive influence and change in our country. I congratulate you because we are seeing a shift in which future generation of women would not have to undergo the challenges and barriers current generation fought to make their lives better. Together, we can. Together, we will. I ask every single woman in this room and across Guyana to join with me and every Guyanese in building one Guyana. In building one Guyana in which all of us can be proud to be part of. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, President Ali, for your very inspiring and edifying address as we lift women. Ladies and gentlemen, before we end this opening ceremony of the first We Lift exhibition, I would like to invite Mrs. Chanel Hussein Outar, the ministry's permanent secretary, to give the vote of thanks.
His Excellency, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, Honorable Ministers, members of the diplomatic community, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I stand here with so much pride as I look and I see so many strong, confident, hardworking women who've come out today to share with us in this exhibition under such a fitting theme, We Lift. I know that most of us, if not all of us, have experienced some sort of discrimination in our lives. But you know what the most important part of it is? It's that we rise. We rise like phoenixes, and we come out stronger, we come out better, and we come out ready to challenge the discrimination, stereotypes, and inequalities that life throws at us. As a mother of two girls, after listening to both His Excellency and Honorable Minister Prasad, I'm even more optimistic and confident that our girls and women will thrive and will be the best that they can be in our beautiful Guyana. We heard about the government's commitment to investing in women from His Excellency, as well as the value of empowered families. We must all play a part in making this a reality. We must teach our little boys to respect our girls, and we must teach our girls that not even the sky is the limit of what they can achieve. It starts with you and I working towards one Guyana. They say vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. Our Minister, Honorable Dr. Vinya Prasad, is the brain behind all of this. This was her vision, and on behalf of all of us, I thank you, Minister Prasad. You have been such an inspiration to all of us. I wish to thank so many persons, but if I'm to thank everyone who played a part in this event, we would be here for a very long time. So if I leave anyone out, please forgive me. Special thanks to all of you wonderful women who responded to our call, and without whom we wouldn't have had such a production. I would also like to thank the staff of the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, as well as our young influencers who work long hours to ensure that this event comes to life. Special thank you to the businesses that made donations, as well as those who worked along with us to transform this place and make it as beautiful as it is today. I would also like to sincerely thank our President, honorable ministers, members of the diplomatic community, and all of you who have come here today to join with us as we lift and we celebrate all of us phenomenal women and the men who support us all. I will now like to invite two young ladies to present a token of appreciation to His Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, as well as Minister Vinya Prasad. A round of applause, please, ladies, for all of the women here today. Thank you. And this now brings us to the end of our formal proceedings. Please enjoy all of our exhibits and remember to support our women entrepreneurs. Thank you, and remember to abide by the COVID guidelines. Thank you very much.
And we thank you as well for tuning into our broadcast. We know we have many Guyanese and non-Guyanese women and men who have been tuned in, not just in Guyana, but all across the world, viewing us on our Facebook page. Faye, quite a lot has been said today.
Absolutely, wrapping up the program here, and of course echoing the sentiments of the president himself addressing the ceremony here. You know, the responsibility is on all of us to help to resolve matters and issues that women face, and you know, it's not just for us women to look into them and to find solutions, but of course everybody have their own role to play in finding those solutions. And he did allude as well to the fact that when we find solutions to these problems, then ultimately other persons will benefit as well, given that we're all a people that are interdependent on each other.
And I like the way he's charging our men to be part of this journey, this developmental journey, and this journey towards elevation. He also commended those who were part of the current journey, whether it's participating in the workplace or at home. Men have a great role to play in supporting and also helping to conquer challenges that ultimately will affect everyone if they affect women.
Definitely, and as well highlighting those women at the helm of some of our institutions, such as our ministry of education there, and the persons who are on the front line. He spoke extensively about some of the women that we have got who are battling out there COVID-19, and you know, it's good that we have recognition for these women in particular, given the occasion, of course. But you know, every day is a day for us to celebrate our women, their accomplishments, their leadership. We've got them in so many different institutions, in high places, and they came a very long way. There was a time when women were not allowed to participate and, you know, even be part of certain institutions, but times have changed and women keep evolving and are leading in some of these very prestigious institutions.
Indeed, and we cannot forget forget our 24 honorable women, Faye, in the list of 69 at the highest house of our country, the National Assembly. And this is checking the secretary as well as those on the opposition side and the government side. We salute all of those women, to those who are viewing, to those who are here, and we recognize that whichever side it is, they are all debating and discussing for the benefit of our nation. At the end of the day, that's what they're sworn to when you become a member of parliament, and it's towards tackling the challenges that face women on a daily basis. And so many other things we can point out for you, but touching on some of the high points of His Excellency's speech will lead us to remember women in our own system, Faye.
Absolutely. We've got so many of them. We've got a female at the head of the judiciary, that is not Justice, we're talking about Roxanne Wiltshire, that is, she is the head of the judiciary happening there. We also have Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan. She's also the highest or the most senior female rank in the Guyana Defense Force. However, in 2007, she was seconded to the judiciary and now functions as our Chief Magistrate. Of course, a female having that responsibility here in the country.
We cannot forget our acting our Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana, first woman to ever hold that position,
Right.
Dr. Paloma Mohammed.
Absolutely.
And many others at the helm of various institutions countrywide that are breaking barriers and setting new records, because now more than ever we're seeing a rise in women in various organizations, in various ministries, in various higher echelons of our society, paving the way and letting other women folk know that if it hasn't happened before, it doesn't mean it will never happen. It's up to us to decide how far we can take ourselves.
Right, and we also want to say, give a shout out to the women in our science fields, or women in medicine, or women all across the different fraternities that are making these very significant strides, especially during this time. So we mentioned a little bit earlier about how difficult and challenging it was. Nevertheless, these women would have stood to the test of times and persevered, in doing whatever is it that they really set out to do, whatever is it that they really wanted to pursue. And so they have become successful. That is, of course, based on hard work and perseverance, not just waking up, one morning and having it done easily. It's a lot of hard work that they would have had to put in there, and we use this occasion to recognize them, and of course to celebrate their accomplishments and their achievements as women.
With a woman in charge of our Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, she's also being charged to work with the President to fulfill things related to women's participation, women's development, women's empowerment, ensuring that various environments across the country are cohesive towards the safety of our women and the development of them, and to make sure that some of our goals related to the One Guyana Commission are fulfilled in the sooner and later future.
Definitely. And of course, kudos to her for pulling off this event. We have so many different women who were allowed a platform here today to showcase whatever businesses it is that they have, as well as so many other things that we've got happening right here, right now. And we're still encouraging persons, if you hadn't a chance, you can come down here. They still have booths that are open with so many different services and so many different products, all local, Guyanese made, that is. You have the screening area just outside where persons are sanitized in its entirety, that is, and they're being tested for their temperature, so it's a safe environment for them to come through, just in case you hadn't a chance to come a little bit earlier, or if you're not very comfortable with that. We do have coming up a little bit later on in the program some of the booths we're going to be highlighting and showing you what they have to offer. And Nadia, you did mention there a little bit earlier about the information that is available here right now from the different booths that can be beneficial for persons. So it's definitely something to take advantage of.
Indeed, there are different sections of booths. So we have the business community, where we have women leaders from across Guyana, those in new and developing businesses, as well as those in long-term and prospering businesses. We've also got some outstanding women, for example, the delegates for the Miss India Guyana pageant, the Misses, as well as the Miss Teen, and I'm seeing lots of other women for various business entities that are ready to showcase, inform, and interact as we celebrate women and lift. The theme here this evening is to lift and keep on lifting others. It's all about the empowerment of women, and I see His Excellency is taking a walk around at some of those booths as well, being escorted by several of our ministers, Minister Vindhya Prasad leading there.
Right, and of course persons are still here, getting a look at what they do have to offer here at the Arthur Chung Conference Center. And Nadia did mention so many booths and so many opportunities here for persons who may not have known, rather, especially the Ministry of Human Service and Social Security. They've got a very large booth out here with so much information on some of the services that the ministry is offering, as well as some of the new initiatives that Minister Vindhya would have undertaken just recently. So all of that information is available right here, and it's a good opportunity for persons to be informed.
Indeed. In addition to that, at the southern end of the center, you've got members of the diplomatic corps representing various embassy and consul booths.
Right.
So we've got them there to share the information with you as well. We're currently viewing some scenes from the business section, members of the Lure team engaging persons as to the services they offer. This looks like something to treat a woman with
body care.
If you're visiting or if you're thinking about what you may be able to garner from a visit here. The exhibition will also be open for those of you who are tuned in and for some reason may not make it today. Our team will be here tomorrow as well, and so will the booths, so that you can extract all you need and be lifted as a woman.
Right, so in addition to what we see there on the screen, Anadia, I did mention earlier there's a lot of food on exhibition just out here. Local food, of course, and other local products that have been made right here in Guyana, and some of which are food items that are currently in our local supermarkets. So much happening here this afternoon at the Arthur Chung Conference Center. Women using this platform to highlight and showcase some of what they have got to offer. Some of them stemming from some of the challenges that they would have faced during the COVID-19 pandemic. And, it just shows how resilient they are and how they are persevering despite what we're facing as a nation.
Indeed. For those of you who tuned into our broadcast, we thank you as well. Despite International Women's Day being on Monday, which is actually the 8th, we encourage you to do something about it this weekend. If it's not attending this exhibition, then it has to be in some way or the other about lifting and empowering women. And we encourage you as well to wear purple, white or green, which are the colors associated with International Women's Day, and to lend a supportive hand and to start reaching out to women in your neighborhood, at your place of work, wherever it is you go on a daily basis.
Yeah, we still do have a couple of performances that are happening here with the young influencers who, they would have been part of the program a little bit earlier, and they are still here and, still showcasing some of their talents and, of course, sharing messages about women and for women as we celebrate International Women's Day 2021. We know that the day is actually on Monday the 8th. However, we started our celebrations today, and that will continue over this weekend, heading tomorrow as well as on Monday.
And as His Excellency continues to walk around, we encourage you to stay with us, because later on we'll be taking a walk around, myself and Faye. We'll be giving you the information from several booths as it comes to us, sharing with you what it is they seek to do relating to women empowerment and development. We might even hear about some of those challenges from our business owners and our women in business. They will be sharing their stories with us, letting us know how they've overcome some of them, how they've coped with the past year in a COVID-19 environment. A round of applause there for the young influencers. Yes, as I was saying, Faye, they will be indicating to us some of the challenges they faced in the past year. It was last year at a time like this. We were now beginning to understand that COVID-19 is part of our world and starting to get plans and preparations and starting to mentally gear up as to what would be coming next.
And it was certainly something that we did not prepare for. We had absolutely no idea what would come of it, what we were heading into. Nevertheless, we really want to, commend our Guyanese for finding ways around the pandemic to actually work. And so for those persons who are tuned in right now and you do not want to come here or you don't have the time to come here, just be reminded that we will be checking some of those booths a little bit later on in the program, where we'll bring you, some of the information that is available there, as well as some of the services and products that are on exhibition here.
Taking a look around the Arthur Chung Convention Center, it's turned out to be a beautiful Saturday afternoon, Faye. We've had great weather. There's a cool breeze rushing across the venue. Persons are in high hopes. It's almost a celebratory, I would say it's a celebratory mode. You've got purple balloons and decor all over. Women and men and children are smiling faces. You can tell not from their smiles because it's covered by the mask, but by the rising of the cheeks and the eyes becoming tiny in some cases.
Definitely. I look around and I notice persons are really taking advantage of checking out those booths to see what they have got to offer. So a little bit earlier you spoke about how a person just might get an epiphany right here as to what they want to do. Some information just might come up, and that's where you make your first move. That'll be your story. It was during a pandemic where you came to the women's exhibition, and that is where your story started. It might be a business, it might be one of the diplomatic booths you visited and saw some of the opportunities that some of the various missions are offering, and that's where your story started. So stay tuned for more. We will be bringing you, updating you rather as to what else is happening here at the Arthur Chung Conference Center.
We're still taking our walk around as His Excellency makes his way to the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security booth. That's where he's going to be a witness to a bit of spoken word and singing.
The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, their booth really has a lot to offer there. So just as a reminder, they are our hosts this afternoon here. And of course, their booth has so much to offer. And, the President is taking a look at what is happening there.
Let's listen to the speech, Faye, by Jamesia McCalman.
Reincarnated into something more grotesque, abolishing chains from around your feet, hands and neck, so you can floss with a bigger gold or silver chain around your neck. She recreated herself into a system that allows you to profit from the world while losing your soul. You sold sisters for sex for no less than 1 penny, 2 penny, hot cross buns. 1 penny, 2 penny. You are Judas Iscariot. Oh, Mr. Iscariot, you should have been carrying the title of prince to a king. Instead, you carry the title of trafficker. Having immersed yourself in the form of modern slavery, human trafficking, you trafficked her. Oh, Judas, you were meant to be a prince to a king, but they say you attract that which you fear, and she hated mathematics so much she became a statistic, adding to the number in tips. As the years go by, the numbers continue to skyrocket. They said those are 40 million cases. This is greater than slavery, and the pain and torture she endured is no less than signs of the end times, where we are surrounded by Judases, mothers selling their souls while selling their daughters into prostitution and child marriage, and the fathers who attempt to liberate their families from poverty get trapped by traffickers into gold mines and pits. We do not need Christopher Columbus to voyage from the grave in which his bones decay to rediscover that slavery still exists, when we are surrounded by Judases who continue to sell our boys and girls, or males and females, or sons and daughters for 1 penny, 2 penny, 1 penny, 2 penny. Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. Vindhya Prasad, along with our President, His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali. listening and looking with intent there at that piece at the ministry's booth here at the Arthur Chung Convention Center.
Absolutely, a very touching piece done there by Jamacia McCalman. And right now we have persons who are taking the opportunity to meet the president and take photos as well down at the booth of the Ministry of Human Service and Social Security.
Indeed, it's a great opportunity for those who may have never interacted with His Excellency to get something in or even share an idea or get a greeting in. It's a great privilege in any country, regardless of where you are, to meet the head of state and to take a photograph with him and to treasure something like that. You or I would be doing the same, just that we are a bit more privileged in the fact that we get to see them more often than the regular man or woman.
Definitely. So the persons here are really taking advantage of that. I just noticed one of our staff down there at the booth meeting with the president. I like the idea of him interacting and, with the average person, with the man on the street here at this event.
In case you just tuned in, we're going live for the launch of the We Lift exhibition in celebration of International Women's Day, an event put together by the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security. And after the official launch program, we're seeing Dr. Vindhya Prasad walk around with His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali. They continue to take pictures with others, as some booths, right now the ministry's booth actually, continue to give us those spoken word pieces, poetry pieces. In some cases, it's a fusion of multiple talents.
Right, some of which are highlighting the challenges and the issues faced by women in our society. I like the fact that the minister is here on the ground and still interacting with persons as host of this event. It's definitely turning out to be one of success.
And I'm sure she will be here as well tomorrow, Faye, to get those interactions in, to get ideas and to get an ear in as to some of the challenges some of our women folk are facing. I'm sure persons who may think that they're cornered in terms of a business idea or a proposal, they may think, oh, I'm not sure what I should do with it. Then tomorrow is the perfect day, and right here is the perfect place to come on down and share that with other young business women and entrepreneurs, and even Minister herself, to shed some light on the issue and come up with some possible solutions to the challenge you may be facing. In addition to that, they've also got several different services here on display to inform our women folk and all in attendance, even the men, because they have to carry on the information to their wives, daughters, sisters, and mothers at home, so that they too may become aware as to the ways in which they can be assisted by the ministry.
Right, and the fact that she has these interactions with these persons gives her an opportunity to see exactly what is happening with the people, let them get a chance to share their stories, and of course as a person in leadership and with certain responsibilities would be able to make policies that will certainly affect all of us.
They're making special effort during the walk-around fete to make sure everyone gets a little interaction in, to make sure everyone gets to witness something or to share a moment with His Excellency. More talent in front of the booth for the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security. This time it's interpretive dance. Let's take a look.
Never want to be your weekend lover. I only wanted to be some kind of friend. Baby, I can never steal you from another. Such a shame how friendship had to end. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple
that
young
piece definitely
influencers there. Right, go ahead, Nadia.
Sorry, that piece definitely alludes to the fact that women have many challenges, but I believe that together there is no problem we cannot solve, and I'm sure that the ministry has systems in place to tackle most of the major problems that women in Guyana face. And as time goes by, they're constantly working on programs to come up with solutions for more and more of those challenges.
Absolutely, and the ministry just recently released 2 new initiatives that they have been working on, but that is as it relates to children. However, that is just to show that they have been paying attention and, working with the people to bring out these initiatives to, tackle issues that persons or women in particular have been facing directly. Minister Vindia do have a big responsibility there as it relates to policies and, being innovative in creating solutions for some of these issues. Nevertheless, she is continuing to work tirelessly in getting that done.
Whether it's the Women and Gender Equality Commission, whether it's the Gender Affairs Bureau rather, or the different services and subsectors of the ministry, or the Young Influencers Program. We saw the launch of the recently commenced Community Guardians program as well. Women have a part to play in conquering challenges and in lifting others all around our country. And that's the message we want to give you as we celebrate International Women's Day here at the Arthur Chung Convention Center, leaving positive messages for those who will be visiting tomorrow, and to remind you to continue to push and elevate yourself as we continue to lift, innovate, and lead.
Absolutely, and the international theme this year for International Women's Day from the UN, that is Women in Leadership Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. We mentioned a little bit earlier how we would have had to work around all of the challenges and all of the issues that came as a result of COVID-19. And in light of facing that pandemic by itself, we still have issues that women have to face. And, it just got a little bit more hard as it relates to trying to deal with those challenges in a COVID-19 pandemic. Also, we would have had reports coming out from the ministry where we would have had increases in domestic violence and violence against women and all of these issues. And so the ministry has been working around that in trying to establish systems to help these women, some of whom are now at home more often than not, which was a contributing factor to why there was an increase in the number of reported cases of violence against women.
And we are seeing some interactive sessions, but this is where we must put a wrap on our program. We encourage you to join us tomorrow on NCN, as well as, if you can, right here at the Arthur Chung Convention Center for continued exhibitions. The various booths will still be here. It's been a pleasure sharing this time with you, Faye, and happy International Women's Day to yourself and all others you may come in contact with in advance.
Thank you so much, Nadia. Happy International Women's Day to you as well, and to all of our women out there, especially our women in leadership and our women who have stood to the test of times and persevere and continue to do the hard work.
On behalf of our technical teams, I'm Nadia Holadar.
And I am Faye Stewart. Thank you so much for joining us here today.